I'll now call upon the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Trade, Cooperatives and Small and Medium Enterprises and Communication, the Honourable Manoa Kamikamica, to make his contribution. The floor is yours.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Naturangambala na Tuivakau, Ratunaingama Lalambalau, the People's Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sitiveni Lingamamanda Rambuka, Leader of the Opposition, the Right Honourable Inia Seri Ratu, my fellow Deputy Prime Ministers, the Honourable Bilga Woka and the Honourable Biman Prasad, Ministers and Assistant Ministers of the Realm, Honourable Members of Parliament, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Buluvinaka, good afternoon to everyone who may be listening to this broadcast or streaming in live today. It is with honor, sir, that I rise today to deliver my statement in support of the 2023-2024 national budget. I would like to thank my fellow Deputy Prime Minister, the learned Professor, Minister for Finance, Strategic Planning, National Development and Statistics, the Honourable Biman Prasad, for an excellent, well-crafted and people-centred budget. I commend his team as well for their hard work and recognize the outgoing CEO of FRCS, Mr. Mark Dixon, for his contributions as well. Mr. Speaker, sir, firstly, the budget announcement was delivered on time. The Leader of Opposition asked for humility. If that is not indication of humility to the people of Fiji, I don't know what is. It was delivered in simple language so that the whole country could understand, and it was well received by the majority of the people of Fiji. It was done in a consultative, open, compassionate, and transparent manner, Mr. Speaker, sir, without any hidden agendas. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to talk briefly about the People's Coalition's legacy in less than a year of being in office. And this is something, Mr. Speaker, sir, the guys on the other side don't understand. They have 16 years of history, and we've only been here for seven months. So I urge them to wait. Good things are coming. It's about promises made, sir, and promises delivered. We promised true democracy, sir, removal of MIDA and facilitating free speech, removal of Bill 17 or Act 22, return of the GCC, removal of excessive ministerial allowances that enriched the other side, Mr. Speaker, sir. Introduced public holidays like Ratu Solala Sukuna and the Girmitia Day, which will form the basis, Mr. Speaker, sir, for true reconciliation in the new Fiji. Removal of TELS, repayments to the USP, no more Solinia Sana, and the protection of welfare payments. Oh, sorry, Mr. Speaker, sir, correction. We actually increased the social welfare payments to the people of Fiji, contrary to the suggestion during the campaign that we were going to reduce social welfare payments, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, so I can go on with a full list of promises and embellish a little bit, Mr. Speaker, sir, on what we delivered in such a short span of time. But we, on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, are not boastful in our makeup. Mr. Speaker, sir, all we know is that we are here to serve the people of Fiji, and we are just getting warmed up. Let me talk about the mess, and maybe this will make them understand, Mr. Speaker, sir, why we had to deliver a very hard budget. When Mr. Richard Naidu and Ms. Lisa Epted, who were chairs and deputy chairs of the Fiscal Review Committee, delivered their findings, Mr. Speaker, sir, it confirmed our deepest fears. This country was in a mess. The mess was a result of incompetent and poor leadership, which resulted in high unsustainable debt levels, improper, shambolic, pathetic state of our health facilities, school facilities, government quarters, government assets, poor management of infrastructure such as water and roads, and a famous swimming pool, Mr. Speaker, sir, which has still not seen the light of day after so much waste of taxpayer money. Maybe the Honorable Balak might be able to elucidate us on it. This begs the question, Mr. Speaker, sir, how on earth did we get to this place? How on earth, Mr. Speaker, sir, did we get to this place? And this is a learning for all of us in here, in this august chamber, especially the aspiring young leaders of tomorrow, Mr. Speaker, sir. When you armchair yourself into positions of leadership without one relevant experience or training, in this case, armchairing through a coup, think that you know more than anybody else and refuse to listen, you are setting yourself up for catastrophic failure. Basically, Mr. Speaker, sir, this mess falls at the feet of the former Prime Minister, the Honorable Borenge Bainimarama, and the former Attorney General. And where are they, Mr. Speaker, sir? Where are they? They ran away. They ran away and refused to account themselves to the people of Fiji in this august chamber. I leave it to the people of Fiji to judge them, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me cover some facts about the mess, Mr. Speaker, sir. Number one, I have 5 examples, Mr. Speaker. Number one, film tax rebate. When foreign companies come to Fiji, they are entitled to rebates, Mr. Speaker, sir. So a portion of the money they spend in our country is refunded to them. This happens around the world, Mr. Speaker, sir. But for some reason, the rebate levels in Fiji were excessive. Even the film companies, sir, were telling the government it was too generous. As a result, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fiji First government has handed us an outstanding bill of 178 million owing to these companies. So, for the next 4 to 5 years, we will be paying 40 million a year to make good on this colossal markup. Be assured, Mr. Speaker, sir, we will honor this debt. The worst effect, Mr. Speaker, sir, the worst fact is that the payouts, Mr. Speaker, sir, were never recorded in the budget of the country. I'll say that again, Mr. Speaker, sir. The payouts from the rebates were never ever recorded in the budget in the country. So one can argue, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the former Minister of Economy was misleading Parliament on this matter. I will be lodging a complaint to the Office of the Attorney General for an investigation. Walesi, number 2. The Walesi investigation is ongoing, Mr. Speaker, sir, but again, it is a mess. We have asked for some additional resources to complete the investigation, and be assured, Mr. Speaker, sir, we will leave no stone unturned. By the end, if we account for this year's budgetary allocation of 8 million, Mr. Speaker, sir, we would have spent 136 million on Walesi. Mr. Speaker, sir, how does one government and cabinet first allow money to be spent without any feasibility study done? The Honorable Ezrom talked about feasibility studies and business cases. And worse still, Mr. Speaker, sir, the true cost of Walesi was never ever fully disclosed in this House. And that is a shame. What a mess, Mr. Speaker, sir, what a mess. Number 3, USP dues. Much has been said about the refusal by the former Attorney General to pay the dues of USP. The quality of education for our children, Mr. Speaker, sir, was hijacked by one individual. And the people on the other side were scared to tell him. The height of arrogance, Mr. Speaker, sir, the height of arrogance. As a result, Mr. Speaker, sir, we owed 80 million before the coalition took over, and this is now being repaid. 20 million is provisioned in the current budget, Mr. Speaker, sir. Number 4, FRA amounts paid, unpaid. The Fiji First government fully spent the budget of the FRA within 6 months before we took over. Mismanagement, Mr. Speaker, sir, mismanagement. So, there is 40 million set aside in this budget to pay for liabilities that they incurred, Mr. Speaker, sir. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, number 5.
Order.
This is the crime of the century, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'll repeat it. This is the crime of the century. Listen to this. The backdating of capital gains tax to benefit or exempt certain individuals. Totally unacceptable, Mr. Speaker, sir. Totally unacceptable. I was particularly vocal about this in the campaign. And the amount of revenues lost, Mr. Speaker, sir? 70 million, according to Honorable Biman Prasad. Mr. Speaker, sir, on these 5 examples alone, only 5, the Fiji First government has handed a gaping hole of 506 million to the people of Fiji and the People's Coalition. More than $500 million. No wonder, Mr. Speaker, sir, we had to increase taxes because of this hole. And they are wondering why are we increasing taxes. It was done, Mr. Speaker, sir, because of the mismanagement of the Fiji First government. And rest assured, Mr. Speaker, sir, I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. This $500 million will grow. And by the time we reach the end of the year, there will be a larger number to report in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, sir, I liken it to beginning a 100-meter race at least 50 meters behind the starting line. That is the impact of what they have done to this country. But do not despair, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let us not despair. The good news is, Mr. Speaker, sir, that there is a new leadership in Fiji which believes, Mr. Speaker, sir, if we work together as one people under God, the people of Fiji, we can overcome our current challenges. Therefore, the 23-24 national budget, Mr. Speaker, sir, is the first step in building the new Fiji. We are under no illusions, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the road ahead will be hard, but together as one people, we can build the new Fiji. Allow me to talk about the economic setting, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am very optimistic about the current trajectory of the Fijian economy. It is projected to grow at 8% this year, 3.8% in 2024, and 3% in 2025. The economic indicators are in the right direction, Mr. Speaker, sir. Liquidity is strong, lending rates remain at historic lows, and private sector has been showing continuous growth in terms of credit, and optimism is up. For sure, Mr. Speaker, sir, there are headwinds building globally. But as we know, Mr. Speaker, sir, the best opportunities arise from challenges and adversity. And most importantly, Mr. Speaker, sir, and they're wondering about where the economic growth will come from, the investment pipeline, foreign and domestic, in Fiji right now is 4.25 billion and growing. This represents 179 active projects in Fiji from the private sector alone. And this includes major public sector investments that are being planned in Fiji. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are positioned for some very good times in our country. I would like to touch on our ministry allocations and priorities, Mr. Speaker, sir. And that maybe answer some of the questions around how we're going to grow the economy. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry for Trade, MSMEs, Cooperatives and Communications was actually identified as a new portfolio in the 2023-2024 budget. The ministry is very thankful, Mr. Speaker, sir, with its total allocation of 116.5 million, which consists of 98.9 million in operating expenditure, 6.3 in capital expenditure, and 11.3 in VAT. Some of the core allocations, Mr. Speaker, sir, are 45 million for the outstanding rebates and new rebates. And Mr. Speaker, sir, if you peel back, just imagine, Mr. Speaker, sir, if that 40 million could be used for something else in Fiji. Just imagine. We are now paying for other people's stupidity, perhaps, Mr. Speaker, sir. 9 million on the ease of doing business, 8 million for Alessi, and I think I'd address the Honorable Mbia here. The problem is not Walesi, Mr. Speaker, sir. The problem is how they set up Walesi. They set up Walesi without understanding how are we going to recover the money once we spend the money on Walesi. They have no idea. So that is the job of this investigation, to find out how we sustainably keep Walesi, or if we have to exit sustainably. That is the key. 4.4 million for trade commissions in Australia, New Zealand, North America and China, 2.8 million for investment Fiji, 2.6 million in grants for SMEs and cooperatives. I'll come back to that figure, Mr. Speaker, sir, but it's an increase of about 80%, I think, all up. 2.5 million to support the ICT BPO sector, 1.4 million to the purchase weights for one of our departments, the Ministry of Standards, 800,000 for Film Fiji, and 500,000 for business assistance. One of the important things to note, and I think you will hear it from all the ministers, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that when we entered our ministries, they were severely under-resourced. And so part of this budget, actually, Mr. Speaker, sir, addresses the under-resourcing. These allocations from our ministry underpin 5 priority areas in the ministry that we are going to focus on. 1, genuine economic diversity. 2, driving Fiji as a regional hub. 3, driving a fully digital economy. 4, connecting the unconnected. And 5, improving regulatory and governance frameworks. Allow me to elaborate very briefly, Mr. Speaker, sir. The ministry will be collaborating with all government ministries and agencies, Investment Fiji, our trade commissioners, the high commissioners, bilateral and multilateral partners, the private sector and NGOs, which was a bad word on the other side of the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, to continue to expand and diversify the economy. There is an intense focus on renewable energy, green-blue solutions such as recycling, commercial agriculture, and aquaculture with strategic and foreign local partners. You didn't get anywhere. None of these things got done. And manufacturing for renewable spaces and niche products, fast-growing BPO sector, education, and the ICT data warehousing opportunities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honorable Ngavoka has talked about tourism and what growth is happening there. And for the film industry, Mr. Speaker, sir, they almost destroyed the film industry. They almost destroyed the film industry because of this rebate issue. And we on this side of the House will not allow that to happen. In the MSME sector, Mr. Speaker, sir, I put it under diversification because it's a very important part of what we are wanting to do. It is a major job creator and is about 19% of GDP. It has significant potential. With the current funding, we will assist MSMEs to link up to formal markets, start up or scale up their businesses. I'd like to acknowledge Rise Beyond the Reef, and this is their product here, with Mr. Samuel Otawa, who actually just recently, through our assistance, has gotten this product on Amazon, which means that our ladies will now be able to actually market their goods internationally, Mr. Speaker, sir. What an exciting development. Diversification in practical terms. Assisting farmers under smallholding farming models. We had planned to do this, Mr. Speaker, sir, and there's already examples in Fiji on how it's done. British American Tobacco, Goodman Fielder, and FSC are good examples of using smallholder models. And one step further, Mr. Speaker, sir, we would like to incorporate cooperatives into these models, such as they do in Fonterra in the dairy industry in New Zealand, and the Esprit model for kiwi fruit in New Zealand as well. So watch this space, it's happening. Targeting assistance to tourism projects is very important, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Joseph Ambau in the Takalana Resort in Natalera for dolphin watching. With these allocations, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are developing a total ecosystem to support MSMEs and cooperatives by collaborating with the private sector and the banks such as FDB, BSP, and the Reserve Bank. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, if we look at the support to MSMEs across the ministries, the MSME funding envelope is about 30 million, excluding the private sector. Our plan is to launch at least one new industry in our country every year and reboot existing export opportunities. New emerging industries such as medicinal cannabis, Mr. Speaker, sir, look promising. Nutraceuticals such as kava tablets and juices, cosmetics, the cocoa industry, ginger, turmeric, mahogany, and noni, commonly known as kura, are industries that will be of focus. Trade is the lifeblood of our economy, Mr. Speaker, sir. We will focus on traditional, bilateral, and multilateral trade opportunities that make sense to Fiji. As part of this commitment, we are prioritizing the conclusion of negotiations on the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, or IPEF. This agreement represents immense opportunities for our region to expand our trade horizons beyond our immediate region. And of course, there's import replacement. I am in discussion with some manufacturers, Mr. Speaker, sir, and we will be making hopefully some announcement soon on genuine import substitution in Fiji. We will continue to support their efforts. Driving Fiji as a regional hub. We will continue to drive Fiji as a regional hub. Discussions about a second submarine cable into Fiji is progressing positively, and the expanding reach of our national carrier, Fiji Airways, and the strategic position of our ports of entry, Suva and Lautoka, makes Fiji well positioned. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji's intent is that all countries in our region benefit because of this regional hub agenda. We all rise together. Driving a fully digital economy. Mr. Speaker, sir, we will endeavor to unlock our potential in terms of digitalization, and we will launch a national digital strategy soon. The second cable, sir, if it happens, is a game changer for our country. The ministry is collaborating also with our telcos on a plan to implement a 5G network in Fiji. It will require some policy and regulatory adjustments. Progress towards making businesses and processes more efficient under the Business Fiji Now initiative, or ease of doing business, is underway. And ultimately, in the first phase, we plan to automate 16 processes across 25 agencies in about 18 months. Another thing that we are looking at, Mr. Speaker, sir, is the digitization of our trade. Working with UNCTAD and the World Trade Organization, we will endeavor to establish a national single window, which, if happens, becomes a one-stop shop and will simplify and streamline trade procedures. Connecting the unconnected, very briefly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the remaining 5% we plan to actually connect over the next 24 to 48 months using the Universal Service Trust Fund, working in close collaboration with our partners. We have also launched an initiative called the Smart Islands Initiative with the UN, and we are focusing on Rotuma. In terms of regulatory governance frameworks, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are undertaking some legal legislation reviews, the Real Estate Agents Act, National Trade Measurements Act, Trade and Standards Act, a possible MSME bill to support MSMEs, and a review of the Cooperative Act, Mr. Speaker, sir. Cybersecurity is also a major priority in our ministry, and this framework is being strengthened by the introduction of the National Crisis Emergency Response Team, or CERT, to deal with emerging threats. And also, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are looking at data protection laws, and this will be important as we try and continue to push for the BPO industry and also protect that flow of transborder personal data. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, sir, you may recall that in my maiden speech, I invited all of us to seek the wisdom of King Solomon, and what I am about to say comes from that whirlpool of goodwill. In the last few weeks, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have seen the release of a 50-page dossier of garbage attempting to destabilize our beloved country, which was saddening. What saddened me more, Mr. Speaker, sir, was the silence and lack of condemnation on the other side of the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, this type of thinking has no place in the new Fiji. And I condemn whoever wrote that nonsense in no uncertain terms. And I hope, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the law catches up with him or her. I hope my colleagues on this side of the House will do the same and condemn this document publicly and on record. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the recent suspension of the Fiji First Party revealed all the flaws in our electoral system, created obviously by the former Attorney General for self-preservation. Even the Leader of Opposition in the Business Committee, which I attended on behalf of the Prime Minister, admitted that the laws did not make sense. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I repeat the challenge I issued in the spirit of goodwill to the Business Committee in this august chamber. Let us work together. Let us work together to change all the unjust laws set up in the last 16 years, and let us once and for all set Fiji on a new path for the new Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wholeheartedly support the 2023-2024 national budget and look forward to working with all members in this august House and the people of Fiji as we take the first step in building the new Fiji. May God bless Fiji. May God bless us all. Minakasakawalebu, Danyavad Vayaksha, and thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, for your contribution.